Greetings, everyone. Happy
Happy
Wednesday to all of you guys and gals. Happy Wednesday, and thank you for spending some time with us today. Before we get into the topic of the day, sound off in the comments if you would. Please let myself and my co-host, Coach Cassie, please let us know where you guys and gals are hailing from. Let us know branch of service, years that were served, as well as maybe some of the bases that you were at. So please go ahead and add that into the chat. Again, I'm Coach Zach, and I'm here with Coach Cassie, and we are glad that you are all here today.
Yeah, thanks for joining in. We'll definitely give you some shout outs once we see the comments start coming through. Again, just let us know kind of where you're tuning in from and then where you served and when you served.
Absolutely. Yeah, so if any of y'all are members of our elite program, when you attend a Zoom class, we typically wait till about 5 after the hour to allow as many veterans as we can to trickle in, and then at that time we will go ahead and push with the actual course contents. Okay, I see Randy hailing from Alabama. Appreciate your service, sir. Thank you.
We got Tom, 20 years. Thank you for your service. 100% PNT, but still coming here to listen in. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Don, USMC, Raw, 74 to 1990, SoCal, right on. I was actually there a couple weeks ago. Beautiful Camp Pendleton.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, best weather out there, I have to say. So while it was, 90 degrees in Texas here, it was nice and cool there.
Miss Eldridge, Army, 76 to 79, Hampton, Virginia. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for your service. Mr. Ramos, San Diego, California, U.S. Navy, 75 to 80. Thank you for your service.
Mark Sharp, Virginia, Army, 91 to 2005. How you doing?
Awesome. David, Blythe, California, Navy, 84 to 94. And then California National Guard, 94 to 03. So, appreciate your continuing service. Absolutely.
Steven coming in from Florida. He's Navy. He's already an elite member. So awesome. Glad to join. You're joining in to listen in.
Right on. Kevin, Ohio, U.S. Navy, 20 years. Disabled vet. Thank you for your service, sir.
Nene Pierce, Army active and reserves, 81 to 2002, San Diego, California. How you doing?
Peter Pedro, U.S. Navy, 84 through 94, out of Miami. We were just talking about you, Ricky.
We were. 90%. Probably still working towards that 100. I'm glad you're here.
Ray Lawrence, Navy, 66 to 72. Wow, we got a lot of Navy folk in here.
We do. Hey, Tim. Honorably discharged Navy, 79 to 87. He's taking some medication, and it's kind of affecting his sleep, it seems. So kind of like what he's mentioning here, our topic today is going to be about medication side effects. We'll jump into it a little bit here in a bit. But let's just get a few more shout outs, and then we'll talk about ourselves a little and then jump right into it.
Absolutely. All right, Kevin, 76 to 96. Sounds good.
Hey, Irene, 5 years, 78 to 83, U.S. Army.
Gerson, U.S. Army, 64 to 68. Thank you for your service, sir.
And John, already an elite member. He's at 92%, right on the cusp.
There. You are right there. Keep it going. Mark Gray, Marine, 92, 96. Kings Bay, 30% just getting started, shooting for 100%. Well, you're certainly in a good place.
Persistence is key, so just keep at it. And Jim Collins, Houston, Texas, USAF, 66 to 70. Thanks for being here.
This information is going to be gold. I agree.
We appreciate that.
All right, Mark, 82 to 90. Army Red Legger. Okay, your artillery, right on. Appreciate your service.
Hey, Doug, 84 to 89. and then 89 to 93, and then 2004, 2007. So you got a lot there. 20% seems like maybe you deserve a little more.
Dennis, Willingboro, New Jersey, Air Force 82 to 88. Thank you for your service.
And Don Murphy, that name looks familiar. Army 82 to 92. So we're sitting at about 5 after here. If you want to let them know a little bit about you, Zach, I'll kind of give him my intro after, and then we'll hop into it.
Sounds good. I'm Coach Zach, and I've been working at VA Claims Insider for about a year, some change now, almost a year and a half. I was actually in the same cohort class as my co-host, Coach Cassie. We came in together. I'm a combat vet of the Marine Corps, and I initially enlisted in 06, and then I served till about 2012. After that, I had a break of service that lasted about a few years, and I rejoined the reserves in 2020. My current unit is based out of Joint Base Lewis McChord there in Washington. I currently reside just south of Austin here in the great state of Texas. And I came to VACI looking for meaningful change. Before this job, I was working security at a small security base a small military base. And after about a year or so, I knew I wanted to find a different path. One of my friends was already a coach with VA Claims Insider, and he always, raved about, the things that he got to do in assisting and coaching veterans. And I knew from the start it was something I wanted to do, and ever since then, I've had no regrets, and I'm just happy to be here with you all. How about you, Coach Cassie?
Yeah, so unlike Coach Zach, I'm not a veteran, right? But I'm grateful to be a part and assist the veterans that I've been able to help over a past year or so that we've worked here. I am coaching here from Dallas, so we're both here in the Texas area. I do have a lot of veteran family members. That's what kind of drew me to coaching here. One of which is probably one of your Coach Stacey Allen. He kind of piqued my interest when I overheard a couple of his phone calls while we were in the car, and more so when we were on a trip. And so I just wanted to know more about it. I had no clue about Army life itself or service life itself, and I also didn't know anything about the VA claims process. But I've been able to learn a lot and teach others. So that's what we're here to do for you today. And if you have questions, or if you want to sign up for our elite program with a familiar face, either me or Zach, you'll see our sign up links there in the chat and also on the screen. And sign up, chat with us. Let us dive into your situation, see how we can help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it isn't just me and Cassie who are, behind the scenes with the coaches. Our elite program has dozens of coaches who are ready and willing to, serve veterans and to help coach you along the process. With our elite program, we stand on, a few pillars, if you will: strategy, education, medical evidence. So with the one-on-one coaching that you receive from the elite program coaches, you will get a hold of all that, and the ultimate goal is to make the VA process easy for you. The information certainly is out there, but it's not exactly advertised, and a lot of it is ambiguous, right? But with the one-on-one coaching, with the elite program, and the information that you have access to, it's a wealth of knowledge, and it certainly has helped me as a client. I'm a client, and I'm also a coach, so I can attest to the great things that we're doing here. When you sign up for the elite program, one of the first steps is to go into a strategy session with the coach that you're assigned to, and you're not really talking about the strategy for one particular claim. You're talking about overarching strategy in order to get you to the goal that you want to get at, whether it's 100% PNT, whether you feel like ethically, morally deserve just 80%, whatever the case may be. That is what the strategy is for. And the coaches are they're great at establishing, the proper steps that you're going to need to take along the way. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, the coaches also, coach you in, claim submission and the big one, CMP preparation. So a lot of good things going in VACI's elite program.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, aside from working with your coach and getting access to the educational materials, another piece is the live classes that we host. So if you are a part of our elite program, we host about 3 live classes a day that are either topic specific, like the CMP prep classes, or more open forums. You can hop in and ask questions that you might have and get a little bit different perspective from other veterans in the program or other coaches that are hosting. So some of the classes that we host, in addition to the CMP prep or the Q&A, is coffee with the coaches. I think that's one of the more um, what's it reoccurring attendance we have from the veterans that are in the program. It's really a place to come in, link in with a community of people doing the same thing that you're doing. Get picked up when you have a denial, something like that. Just come in and share what's going on, and then have that feedback. So if you want to be a part of that, join in for that. Either sign up with our sign up link, or if you have questions before signing up, sign up for a 30-minute discovery call. That'll allow you to talk to one of our representatives about any questions you have, or anything before you do go ahead and make that final sign up.
Absolutely. And sort of circling back to the the Zoom classes, it isn't just coaches, just dispersing information out there. A lot of the recurring vets like Russell, like Eric and stuff like that, they like to give information from their perspectives as well. So it's highly engaging, and it's very encouraging to see that veterans are helping other veterans essentially. But with that, we'll go ahead and we'll start with the topic and why everyone is here: medication and their side effects, right? So we've all seen it, those fancy commercials on TV for medication. Usually has an old man in a tub, or a grandmother flying a kite with her grandkids. But at the very end of the commercial, what do you always hear about, right? Side effects. So that is the core of what we're going to talk about today. And it's really no different, for veterans who take medications for a disability that is already service connected, right? And as veterans, or folks who know veterans, i.e., spouses, siblings, parents, whatever the case may be, there is usually a disability or two or three that are involved, and that your veteran or you are on medication for.
Yeah, and I'll add that it's important to be aware of the side effects, right? Any medication you have, you can Google it or look on the side effects list, and you'll see everything that it could cause. But what's important for your claim process is understanding that you could be eligible for an increased rating or a secondary claim, due to the adverse effects you're having from medications that you may be taking for service-connected conditions. And so that's what we're going to dive into a little bit about. What are some of the more common conditions that you may be dealing with that have those medications and then those adverse side effects, and touch a little bit more on it. Some of the first few ones are more high value disabilities like mental health, GERD, migraines, or orthopedic conditions, often come with some sort of medication to help mediate that. What a lot of veterans don't realize, though, is that they can lead to other disabilities, and it is worth filing a claim for if you are dealing with that.
Right. Yeah, and sort of a personal touch that kind of encompasses what we're going to talk about. I can talk about my dad. He was in the Army for 32 years. He retired as a sergeant major. He was artillery, and there was a lot going on with his body, and a lot of orthopedic conditions. His back. He had surgery on both of his knees, so there's a bilateral thing going on, and he had issues with plantar fasciitis in his feet. So he's usually in a lot of physical pain. So he's on medication prescribed by the VA, to help handle with that pain. And when he first got rated for said conditions and he got prescribed medications, after a while, acid reflux started to develop with him. So when he went through his journey, he was eventually able to service connect uh, acid reflux GERD as a secondary to his orthopedic issues because of the medication. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about here.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the more common side effects that can lead into secondary claims. And just take it back to the basics. A side effect is really just any unwanted symptom that's caused by your medication. They can vary from person to person. They can be mild or they can be severe. The VA won't necessarily rate your condition as caused by the medication unless you're taking the medication to address the service-connected disability. So if you're taking something for migraine or headaches and that's causing the GERD, but you're not service-connected for migraine headaches, you'll need to kind of stair step that, get your migraines service-connected first, and then that medication side effect can be secondary to that later on.
Right on. And so we'll go ahead and dive into a little bit of PTSD and some of the side effects for the medication that's commonly administered for PTSD. Many different medications for PTSD can cause disruptive side effects. VA disability for medication side effects is common for veterans who take antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, and even antipsychotics. These medications can cause side effects, including but not limited to headaches, nausea, weight gain or loss, cardiovascular issues, chronic pain, dizziness, rash, or even sexual dysfunction. These secondary conditions can be just as debilitating as the PTSD symptoms, and it can even make it, a lot more difficult for you to work or even take care of yourself. That social and occupational impairment that you may hear about. Medications like what you would take for PTSD can cause a lot of different secondary conditions. Some of the most common secondary issues, that can cause by medications in general are a lot of what I spoke about earlier, but there's also allergic reactions. There is GERD, like I kind of mentioned earlier. There's IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. There's even hallucinations and headaches. So there is a lot of potential things that you can go after as a secondary to the primary condition. So speaking about IBS a little bit, it is one of the more common ones. It's short for irritable bowel syndrome. So if you are on medication for a service-connected disability and you struggle with, your bowels, if you have issues, being regular, then you might be onto something there. Um, GERD, just like what I was saying with my father, medications like Motrin can aggravate the stomach and the lining of the esophagus, right? So veterans will joke that medics and corpsmen will hand out water and Motrin a lot of the times if you go and complain to them, but there is some validity with that. Motrin is usually used to fight off aches within the body. So if you are rated for an orthopedic condition and have been struggling with acid reflux, you may be able to go after that issue as a secondary.
And then a couple other things that are caused by medications or can be aggravated by medications that you can file for may not move your overall rating, but may qualify you for an SMC, which is a special monthly compensation. Means that your percentage will stay the same, or they'll rate you for a condition at 0%, but allow you a little bit more income per month because of that. And some of those things are like erectile dysfunction or female arousal disorder. Both of those things can be secondary to mental health or mental health medications.
Absolutely. Right. So if you are experiencing any of the above symptoms and you're on medication for a disability that you're currently rated for, right, you got to get diagnosed, right? You got to follow the VA Claims Insider Golden Circle. If you haven't heard about that, you want to get diagnosed. Just like any other disability you go after, you have to have a current diagnosis, right? You can't go to sick call for GERD in the 80s and then not follow up with that, right? It has to be current. So as our founder Brian Reese has said in a lot of his videos, get your butt to the doctor. If you have a hard time getting and signing up with a doctor, because of everything going on in the world with the remnants of COVID still going on, or overall tempo of the doctor's office, a VA Claims Insider has a solution. We have a partner company and who's in the medical field, and they can issue a first-time diagnosis for a wide range of medical issues, and these issues are common with veterans, like the aforementioned GERD, IBS, things of that nature. So the company's name is Telemedica. So if you check out telemedicallc.com, you'll be able to see more details and what they can give you a first-time diagnosis for, right? Because it's a virtual company, so they can't do everything, but they can do a whole bunch of other stuff. Or you can get signed up with a veteran coach through the Elite program, and you'll be able to get more information that way.
Yeah, if you're not sure what service you might need, or if you already have the diagnosis, but maybe you need something like a Nexus, that's what signing up for a coach can be helpful for. That strategy is what is implemented. Do you need a diagnosis, or do you already have one? The second kind of key component when you're going to file a claim, specifically if you're going to file a claim for a secondary condition you're having due to that medication, the diagnosis is first, like Zach said, and then a Nexus letter or a medical link speaking about that connection. Sometimes it isn't enough just to say, hey, in my VA record, it shows I take this medication, right? You do need to show that here's a condition I have now that has been aggravated by that, and here's a medical opinion talking about the connection, backing that up with medical literature. And again, if you don't have a private doctor that's able to do that for you, Telemedica is, and they'll look over your records and kind of chat with you about your options there.
Yeah. I've used on a personal level, I've used this company for my psychological evaluation, and they're wonderful. They really are. They're especially trained. It's kind of their niche to work with veterans almost exclusively. They do, and so their the customer service, the customer support is fantastic. So you would be in good hands if you decide to go that route, for sure. All right, so I guess what do you think, Cassie? Do you want to open up the floor for some Q&A? Maybe we can get into this a little bit.
I think it's a good time to do that. Seems like we have a lot in the chat. We'll have to scroll up a little bit and kind of work our way through them.
Okay. Sounds good to me. All right, so when as Cassie goes through the chat for questions, since Telemedica is a separate company, they incur their own separate charges for services rendered, right? So a first-time diagnosis runs about $395. For a Nexus letter, that usually comes in two phases. One, there is a record review, and that incurs a fee of $100. And then once they determine that a adequate Nexus letter can be written for you based on the information you provide them, the cost of the actual letter as of right now is $495. And the psychological evaluation that I mentioned earlier, that is $495 as well. So they are in the process of changing some of their prices around. So best bet, if you have a coach, get with your coach to see how those prices are going to change. If you don't have a coach, sign up for the Elite program, and then you can get in on the fun.
So I found a good question here from Brandon Tango. He says, if you're already 100% permanent in total, is there additional compensation available? And I didn't mention this when talking about the erectile dysfunction or female arousal disorder or the special monthly compensations, but that is something that will add extra income without moving that rating, right? So if you're at 100% P&T and you are not yet service connected for ED, but you do deal with that condition, you are diagnosed, and maybe you have a service connected condition that is causing that or aggravating that, whether that's by way of medication or other ways, then yes, you can file for that claim. If service connected, you'll get about $118 per month for that specific special monthly compensation.
Absolutely. And circling back to the services that Telemedica is offering, they come at a great rate. honestly, I've done my research myself before I was a client of VA Claims Insider, and in order to get a Nexus letter with with some individuals or some other party, um, their prices, they can run in between $1,000 to $1,500, right? But like I said, kind of hitting on the prices earlier, $100 for record review, and then the actual letter itself is just short of $500. So if you compare the two, obviously, you get a great discount by being a member of the VA Claims Insider family and utilizing Telemedic for their services.
That's a good plug. As I was looking through the questions here, I found just a comment that I'd like to shout out. So Scott Brown said, "Hello, VACI family and vet friends. VACI changed my life. 100% PNT. Congratulations. I'm so glad that you got to retire early."
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great. And appreciate you sharing that.
We were talking about the 100% PNT and maybe adding an SMC. Jordan Kelly had a good point. If you're not sure if opening up your claim sake for SMC is the good move for you, that's another reason why it'd be good to chat with a coach. Get signed up and see if it's worth kind of opening that up to get that extra SMC or special monthly compensation for yourself.
That's a great point. Absolutely. What other questions are there?
I have one here from Steven. He says, "What about over-the-counter medications that we buy, Motrin, acetaminophen?" So if you weren't prescribed a medication, but you do have a service-connected condition that you're taking the Motrin or acetaminophen for, headaches, migraines, physical conditions, the best thing is to let your provider know that you are taking those medications. If those are helping, that's great. If maybe you need something that works better, let them know. But the medication itself that you're taking, if it is causing a new condition, the main thing is get in and complain about those symptoms with that new condition. So if you're dealing with GERD or acid reflux because of the Motrin, get in and talk to a doctor about it to get it diagnosed. And then you can take that next step to obtaining a Nexus and filing a claim to see if you can get it service connected.
Yeah, really get that paper trail going with the VA for sure.
Like Zach said earlier, and like a lot of our videos say, that get your butt to the doctor really rings true. Not only for establishing care, but also kind of quality of life overall.
Yep, absolutely. That is true. What other questions do you got, Cassie?
I see another one in here from Lorraine. It's kind of a long one here. I'll let you read through it.
All right. When I got out in 99, I had a well-grounded claim, but the VA denied it as service-connected. Throughout the years, I've suffered with it and got meds to no avail. Finally, 20 plus years, I got a diagnosis. It's best to file a claim and have it effective. Back to 99. If you're referring to back pay, usually when the VA goes into back pay, they go back to the date of the intent to file, right? So if you're trying to go back to 99, you may have to get an attorney involved. I don't know. What do you think about that, Cassie?
It's hard sometimes with those claims that were filed way back when and denied, and then maybe we're discouraged to move forward. But at this time, I would say if you have your diagnosis, again, obtain a Nexus after the fact. Make sure you can establish that link to your service or to one of your other service-connected conditions. And you'll have to file a supplemental claim. When you're denied for a claim in the past, you do have to file it either as a supplemental or you can do a higher level review. Typically, that can be done within a year, but you can do it beyond that year. The main thing is at that point, it may be hard to get it effective back to 99. If you have more questions about that, Lorraine, get signed up. Either check my link out or Zach's link out or our general link so we can dive into that a little bit and see what your options are.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Back pay is nice, really nice, but the important thing is that you get service connected for the condition that you're dealing with. The VA recognizes it, and you get some sort of vindication with that.
You deserve to have the conditions you're dealing with that were caused by your service and made worse by your service connected. Whether or not the back pay will be there, move forward now and get that established.
Right. Absolutely.
I have another good question in here from Steven Salinas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's can multiple medications prescribed by the VA cause secondary GERD or IBS? Which rates more, GERD or IBS, and what is the difference? So that's a great question. One, because really through the VA, you'll only be rated and compensated for one or the other, GERD or IBS. Though one's upper, one's lower, they rate them, I guess, interchangeably. Um, it depends on who you ask. I would say my experience shows that IBS can be a little bit more least path of resistance. And the way that they rate it, if you caught our live a couple weeks back, it's just mild, moderate, and severe. And that's all just depending on how often you're dealing with those symptoms. Whereas GERD, there are a few specific symptoms that are involved. And to allow for that 30% rating, it does have to have a considerable impact on your health via all those symptoms that are affecting you. So look into the rating information for that, see where your symptoms fall. And if you fall higher on one of the two rating scales for either IBS or GERD, go which way your symptoms are more severe.
For sure. Yeah. You can take a look at the 38 CFR, or you can speak with your coach if you have one, and they'll be able to guide you in the right direction to kind of figure out which has the more valuable juice that you're going to squeeze.
Definitely. Joel Brown says, pay attention to these VACI webinars and never give up. That's a great point. You're rated for Agent Orange, PTSD, OSA, and tinnitus. So I'm glad you got rated for the conditions you have, and I really appreciate the shout out. We're happy to be here and giving out this information for everybody.
Yeah, that's key there, is to, till you get to your goal, never give up, never stop the pursuit, and do whatever you can to get up there, get what you deserve.
And we all know that denials happen when you're doing the VA claims process. Just don't let it get you discouraged, or take some time and then come right back at it with some new evidence or a better strategy. Let's see. Stephen's got a lot of great questions today. So he says, I got meds for ED, but I've not yet gotten a diagnosis. How do I get the doctor to put the diagnosis for ED? He gave me meds, but why would they not give a diagnosis? So if you're using the VA or a private doctor, it's hard to say. I have seen a lot of veterans that are being treated or medicated for conditions, but it's not on their problems list. There's a couple different things you can do. You can reiterate your symptoms to your doctor again. You can ask them why the diagnosis isn't there for being treated for it. There's also a good tool on My Healthy Vet where you can document your symptoms and what you're dealing with for them to kind of take action and reach out to you with their options that are available. So those are a couple different ways that you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, you can also get a second opinion from if you're going to the VA for your ED issue, and they're just not wanting to cough up the diagnosis. You could try to go get a second opinion from a specialist. Start complaining about symptoms and see what they can do there. As my boss, our boss says, Elizabeth Hash, she says, evidence is evidence, as long as it comes from an examiner, someone in the medical field who knows what they're doing. It still counts, right? So if you get a diagnosis from a third party, then that might clear the way for you to go and get the nexus letter that you'll need to get service connected for that.
Just scanning through the comments here. Erica, great tip and great knowledge, said you'll need a nexus letter to connect the ED to something in most cases. Nexus letters really are super helpful when you're trying to, I guess, provide proof of that service connection ahead of time and have favorable medical evidence to submit with your claim.
Right, for sure. Yeah, it's a critical piece, especially when you're talking secondaries. You're going to need a medical rationale that argues in your favor as to why your GERD is a secondary to your PTSD, whatever the case may be.
All right. So Gray Mark, he says he has had knee, nerve, shoulder problems and has been taking medication for about 30 years or more. He now does have microscopic colitis, and he feels like the ibuprofen has probably done a good amount of that. If that's the case, Gary, and if you're not already service connected for the stomach issues that you're dealing with, but you are service connected for any of those physical conditions, then it sounds like you may need to collect that medical evidence up, ensure that you have the diagnosis, your nexus, and a link back to your service to be able to move forward with the claim for that.
Yep. Spot on, in my opinion.
Let's see. Erica Gilmore says, how long do you have to be on medication before you can prove a secondary condition? So it's hard to give a definitive number on that. The main thing is, though, that you do need to be taking the medication for a service-connected condition. I don't think there's any specific amount of time, but you need to be able to show either a medical evidence or through a nexus letter the aggravation that has been made. So baseline where you were before the medication, and then what your symptoms are for the new condition after you've been taking the medication for so long. So I think every medication is different on how soon it may start to have effects. But that's kind of the best advice I can give on that front.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. If you're taking medication and then side effects start happening, start that paper trail with the VA if you're using them as your primary care. Get on My Healthy Vet, use that secure messaging feature. So, hey, I have very severe heartburn. I've never had heartburn before, and just start, making that paper trail. And then when you get diagnosed, you get diagnosed.
All right. June Ramos, if I'm saying that right, he says, who will make assessment if I have a valid claim? Would it be the coach, someone else, Telemedica? That's a great question. So when you get signed up for the Elite program, you're automatically linked up with your coach, right? They're going to reach out to you, let you know what your first few action items are, and you schedule your strategy call. That strategy call, if all evidence is uploaded so we can see what your situation is, what you're service connected for, we'll be able to figure out the best course of action for your claim sake at that point. So if you already have all the medical evidence you need, the diagnosis, the nexus, and a condition that either started during active duty or was caused by a service-connected condition, then we'll let you know. Looks like you have everything you need here to file. This is the way to do it. Or Telemedica may come into play if you're missing one of those three things. And say us as non-doctors, just your coach, we don't know if a specific condition could be connected to another one. That's when Telemedica comes in. They'll look over your records and they'll make that final call from a doctor's standpoint.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's part of the reason why, in my opinion, it makes Telemedica so great is that if you want to get a Nexus letter, they're not just going to charge you the whole $595 for the Nexus letter, right? They're going to want to make sure that they can do it, right the first time. They want to make sure that they can do it adequately. So if after the record review phase, they determine, oh, well, this individual is missing a diagnosis, they're going to tell you, and they're not going to charge you, that remainder amount until you get that diagnosis. So, again, it's just one of the awesome things about that company, and why I would always recommend them.
Another quick question here from Stephen. If you get meds from the VA, is that considered a diagnosis? Unfortunately not. You do want to either continue to express the symptoms and severity you're dealing with to warrant that diagnosis or see what needs to be looked into. But just the medication alone won't establish the diagnosis.
Right.
Ken says, I'm diagnosed with IBS, but my civilian doctor told me that the meds I was on for my service-connected back were not the meds that caused my IBS. What else can I do? You can get a second opinion. There are other doctors that can look into it to see if maybe there was just an error that was made in regards to the medication that you were taking for your back. Sometimes the key wording there is cause, right? They may not have caused your IBS, but maybe they aggravated it worse than it was before. And that is still grounds for service connection.
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw a question from Roman about how do you get in touch with the coach. If you are signed up, then you should be on our insider portal, and then one of the steps is to schedule your strategy call with the coach that you are assigned to. If you are not signed up with the elite program yet, then that'll be your first step is getting signed up. Um, it's free to sign up. So I would recommend going ahead and getting in there, get in contact with the coach. They should reach out to you, or just set your appointment with them straight away. That way, you can get the ball rolling as fast as you can.
I think that's one of the best things about signing up for our program is you're not held to anything, right? You sign up, and unless we win or unless we help you win your claim, if we work through the process and you have a rating increase, there's no payment involved. And so just getting signed up with a coach and talking through your options, seeing what's available, I mean, it's why not do it?
Yeah, right. I mean, I've had a couple veterans who were maxed out. Really, we would go through what they're currently rated for. We would talk potential secondaries. Hey, you're service connected for, the ringing in your ears, right? So do you have headaches, migraines? Oh no. Do you have vertigo? No. And then X, Y, and Z. We would go down the list. We would look at every avenue, and at the end of the day, some of them just reached their peak and there was nothing that they could pursue ethically or morally. So they would go ahead and cancel the membership. It's okay if you have that conversation with a coach and there's nothing there. It's okay. Not every vet is going to get to 100% PNT, but we are here to help explore that option with you.
Definitely.
So I just wanted to go back and hit on our Zoom classes. I know we touched on them briefly, but we got a lot of great stuff. As Cassie said, we have coffee with the coaches Monday through Friday. We have a very informative classes on compensation and pension prep that you can attend. We commonly say that the CMP is the most important day in the process, so we have 3 classes throughout the week that is dedicated to that. So we have a lot of good stuff. Every Monday in the evening we have mental health Mondays. So if you're going after that mental health claim, we have a lot of great vets who are very well versed in the mental health and how to get prepared for it. So a lot of good information. Would highly encourage you that if you're a current member of the VA Claims Insider family, you check out as many classes as you can. If you're not a member, sign up and see for yourself.
I'll go ahead and highlight a comment here from Nene Pierce. She says she's a new elite member. They have so much information, a lot of videos, which is awesome. Hasn't talked to her coach yet, but from what she's watched and learned, there's a lot of problems that she's dealing with that she can claim and she didn't even know. So that's awesome. We're glad you're here. Welcome home. Welcome to the group and the community. And we're excited to see as you grow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, the great thing about the coaches is that, we care about what we're trying to assist you with and coach you with. Right. And, a lot of the times coaches, we don't know every answer for every question right off the top of our head. So the coaches themselves have a great community that, I could reach out to my boss, or I can reach out to another coach who I feel may know the answer, for a question that a veteran has. And so we help each other out in that capacity. It's a very awesome group. So, you would be in good hands by signing up for the elite program.
Yeah, I think it's been said before, but you get assigned to a specific coach, but we've all got your back. We're all here for you, and we want to see you succeed.
Absolutely. For sure.
All right. So there's another question in the chat. Just a quick one here. June says, "Can my VA doctor write the Nexus letter?" Just want to confirm. In most cases, they won't speak to service connection. It kind of keep their hands out of it. So you'll be better off checking with a private provider or something of that regard when it comes to establishing that nexus and getting a link ahead of time.
Yeah. And the same thing can be said about a lot of like private sector doctors. Some can and are willing, but those seem to be quite rare. A lot of them either don't know how to write the nexus letter or they don't want to, because they might be, I don't know, a CMP examiner for the VA. There's really no telling us the reason why, but a company like Telemedica, like I said before, that's their niche. They help veterans assemble that critical medical evidence that they need for service connection. Absolutely.
I'm not seeing a whole lot more questions, but I do see some shout outs. So I'm happy to kind of put them out there. So Terry Lawson said, VACI helped me get from 40 to 100 PNT. That is awesome. We love to hear it. We love to see it.
Yeah, congratulations, Terry. That's awesome.
We appreciate you joining in anyways, even though you've reached your goal. And that's another good thing I think about joining the program is once you've reached your goal, you're still able to be a part of the community, be a part of the classes, come back in and see how everyone's doing or give your feedback on how you're doing. And it's just awesome. It really can't be beat.
Yeah, we have vets who have been at the 100% level for months now, and they're still frequent flyers in coffee with the coaches, and it's a great way for them to share their perspective and their lessons learned through their journey, and it just increases the chances for something that can be said that really resonates with you on your level. So yeah, we have a great group of folks, both in the VACI realm as far as coaches go, but also the veterans too. They like to come back.
We love to learn about you guys. Let me see. Here's a long one from Julian. He says, hey, coaches, just wanted to say thank you for getting me from 30 to 60%. You all helped me get my PTSD service connected to 50. He's grateful for the evaluation, but because his medical evidence showed that he should be rated higher, he went for a higher level review. It looks like it was denied, though. So he's asking, should we go for an increase or a BVA or supplemental claim with the new evidence? I would say, Julian, if you're still linked with a coach, just to not step on any toes, get with them, let them look over your decision letter, let them make the best next, step based on what they know about your case. But yes, always come back at it with new evidence, just a matter of what evidence, right?
Yeah. And
congrats again, though.
And plus going to the BVA, they're there for a reason, obviously, but that process can take a couple of years from what I hear. So if you can attack the issue with gathering new evidence, new relevant evidence that the VA hasn't considered before, then as a coach, as a client, as a veteran, I would say go that route for sure.
Good advice.
All right. So we're coming in at near the top of the hour. We have about 11 minutes left in this Facebook Live. So if you have any questions that you're thinking about asking, go ahead and ask them. That's what we're here, and what we're trying to do is to answer these questions for you. Funnily enough, we do have a blog that you see on the screen there that is great. I ran through it when the blog was first announced, and it's about this very topic. It's 6 things that every veteran needs to know about VA disability for medication side effects. So there's a lot of good information in there. A lot of the information you may see in there is similar, with what we've been talking about for the past 50 minutes. But also when it comes to the blogs, we have a lot of really good information for a lot of other subjects, all VA related, all VA claims related. So check those out. It's a lot of good information. Again, education is one of the pillars that we stand on. So educate yourself, make the process easy on yourself.
Really dive in and take advantage of all the materials. And if you scroll through the comments, you'll see veterans that have joined in the elite program and they have taken advantage of it, and they have been able to increase their rating by using that. And I use our blog all the time. Quick search something to find a blurb from the ECFR rating information about a specific condition. So it's a great resource. MJ, he says VACI is the best. They know the ins and outs and the way the VA system works. Worth every penny. Thank you so much for that shout out.
Yeah,
We're so
thank
glad
you.
that you had success with us.
Yeah, so with the blog that we were sort of speaking on for a minute there, if you go to Google or a search engine, a simple search, we'll be able to bring up the link for the blog. The link is right there on the screen, so if you can get that down immediately after we're done here, please check out the information that's on there, and you should be able to find the blogs for like I said, a lot of the other topics that we have that are covered. And also you can check out vaclaimsinsider.com. We have, that is our sort of flagship website, if you will. And there's a lot of good information about the company on there. You get to see the faces of the coaches, and get to learn a little bit about the backgrounds that they have. The vast majority of our coaches are veterans. We do have some like Coach Cassie who are not, but we're all in this as a team. That's the key. We're all in this as a team. So if you're at a plateau, if you're not too sure where to go next, check us out. See if it's a right fit for you. Dip your toe in the water, if you will, or just dive right in.
Definitely. I think that what all of us coaches here want to see is true life change. That's kind of what Terry Lawson was talking about. He said he can't thank VSA enough. They truly changed my life. I don't know how many times that we get to hear that as coaches from you veterans. And I don't know, it brings me goosebumps just thinking about it. I probably shed a tear at least once every other week when someone calls and they finally had success, finally had that validation. And we're just happy to be a part. And we want you all to have that success. So definitely sign up if you have questions, if you're on the fence and you just want to know more about what we do or what your options are. Join us. You can sign up with me personally with the link there on the screen, and I'll be happy to reach out to you and see what options that you have, or sign up for a 30-minute free strat call, get some of those questions answered prior to.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking from the perspective of a client, when I started the process, I was working, 2 jobs, 16, 17, 18 hours a day sometimes, and very little time with the family. But after going through this process and getting service connected, that opened up the doors for a lot more opportunity. And I can't. Again, I know I'm a coach, but as a client, again, I can't say enough about what we have in place here, and very thankful, and I'm sure I can speak for Cassie on this, very thankful to be a part of it. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So, just going into a little recap about what we talked about today, medication side effects and the potential for secondary conditions being rated, right? GERD, IBS, the whole gambit. Look at the blog. The blog was published on 23 May, so just no more than 48 hours ago. So it's hot off the press, And if you're not a current member with VA Claims Insider Elites, look us up. Reach out. Get signed up. Again, it's free, and see what your options are. There are a lot of things. I mean, the learning curve when it comes to VA claims is like super steep, so there's a lot of things that you may not know about what you may be entitled to, and, be open for learning as well. You may come in with a plan, but your coach may have a plan that makes more sense in the long run. It's all about learning with us. What do you think about that, Cassie?
Yeah. I guess closing remarks is, for one, we're glad that you guys come to these live classes. Even if you haven't signed up, your engagement means a lot. And we're glad that you're here kind of soaking in the education that you can. Though, like Zach said, if you want to, and if you have questions, just get signed up and let us see what options you might have available. Let us help set a strategy and just walk through the claims process with you, so you don't get discouraged, so you don't feel frustrated with all the paperwork or the websites or whatever it might be, let a coach kind of work through that with you.
Yeah, for sure. Again, we have, aside from the coaches who are all just a wealth of knowledge, we have the strategy, the education, and we have a means to get the medical evidence, right? So with that one-on-one coaching, you'll get that overarching strategy summary or a strategy session, sorry. We'll coach you through the claim submissions, kind of what to expect, what not to expect. And of course, we'll help coach you, get you ready for the CMP exam. A very big day. That day kind of makes or breaks you. So, why not have a second set of eyes on the situation to help navigate? We also have, again, the Zoom classes. I know we hit on that a lot, but it's a fountain of knowledge. I can't recommend it more. 3 times a day, most days, coffee with the coaches, CMP prep, and we even have specialty classes where we go into, different subjects like HLRs or, what does it take to get ready for sleep apnea, high value claims, stuff like that. So it's worth the time to check out for sure.
Definitely. I really appreciate everybody's engagement today, all the good questions. We host these live classes just about every week. So join us again next week, and in between time, get signed up. Let us chat with you. Let us learn about you. We really want to see you in our live classes.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Joseph, thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your attendance. John Stutz, thank you. I believe you're one of mine. We'll speak soon, sir. Irene, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming. All right, folks. Well, that about does it for us. We hope that you learned a little something throughout this past hour. I know I did. I'm sure Cassie did as well. If you remember, get with your coach, even if it's just to say hi. Keep in contact with them. If you're not a member and this interests you, it's no harm in signing up. See what options are out there for you. But we hope you have a good rest of the day. Do some great things, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for being here.
Have a good one.
If you didn't happen to get to your question in the chat, jump on one of those free 30 calls and get it asked there.
Absolutely. Y'all take care.